For those who've been following the channel and the videos we've made of this Ninja 400, you'd realise that it's a 2023 model with a stock engine. But we do race it down there at the racetrack in Townsville, and there's a couple of observations I've made in riding the bike down there on the track, but also on the local ranges. The first one is, on the longest straight at the racetrack, it does not rev out in top gear. So we've kind of got this reserve capacity in the engine that's not being utilised. Anyone who knows racing knows that the optimum situation is where, when the bike is on the fastest part of the track, it should be revving out in top gear. Second observation is something that we made, particularly on the tighter areas of the racetrack, but also on the local ranges here, and that is the gap between the gears is quite large. And what indicates that is when you change down a gear, sometimes it kind of goes too high in the rev range, and then when you change up to a higher gear, it kind of drops right out of the rev range and it bogs down a little bit. That's because primarily the gap between the gears is quite large, and that can have an impact on downshifting as well. So one option we've got, which we're going to explore here, that is to re-gear the bike by changing the sprocket ratios. If you're doing a re-gearing project like we're doing here, you kind of need to have an objective in mind. Are you trying to gear it up or gear it down? It's going to depend on circumstances. In our particular case, we want to gear it down so that the engine revs more quickly and the gears are closer together. Now, that's not going to give you more power. I had a good chat with Al Samuels from Race Dynamics down there in Sydney, and as he said, what it's going to do, rather than give you more power, it's going to cause the engine more quickly to rev more quickly and get you into the optimum part of the rev range where it has the most torque more quickly than you would otherwise. And the effect of that is you can ride them faster, even though you haven't got more power there. So what we did was, to achieve that objective, is we went from a 14 front, 41 rear, which is a ratio of about 2.9 to 1, which is 2.9 rotations of the front for 1 rotation of the rear. We went from that to a 13 front, so we put a 13 sprocket front and a 43 sprocket on the rear. So that changes the ratio from about 2.9 to 1 to about 3.3 to 1. And that means it's going to take more rotations to turn the rear sprocket 1 rotation. And yeah, that's gearing it down. Now, a couple of things that we've got to consider. First of all, the effect of that. The first thing is, because we've taken 1 tooth out of the front and we've added 2 tooths to the rear, that's actually more surface area around those sprockets, which means the chain actually has to go further because that rear sprocket is much bigger, and that has the biggest effect on this, which means the axle has to come forward. So what we found was 13 front, 43 rear with a standard chain, man, it pulled it all the way to the front and it went super tight. So you could not get enough adjustment out of it. So we changed the chain and we added 2 links to it. And by adding 2 links, rather than shortening the swing arm, we ended up with a swing arm length that was 7 mil longer than the standard length that we had with the standard chain and the factory fitted sprockets. And it's interesting because I really liked the result of that. I liked the way, or the stability that it produces. It's a longer bike. It doesn't have any negative impact on the ability to turn the motorcycle because you're lengthening it. But what it also does is, because when you move that axle back, there's more leverage on the swing arm, which means it's going to take less force here to compress that rear suspension. And I quite like the feel of it. So overall, that package and configuration is absolutely brilliant on the local range. Now, the other effect of it, of changing the gearing, was the actual speeds that it affected. So what we did was, I ran a little experiment before we did the change in the gearing, and I rode the bike in each of the gears and held it at 6,000 RPM and recorded the speed. And the speed before gearing, changing the gearing in the stock configuration, were these in kilometers per hour at 6,000 RPM. First gear 37, second 51, third 65, fourth 78, fifth 90, and sixth 100. So 100 kilometers an hour at 6,000 RPM in the standard configuration. Then we re-geared it, did exactly the same thing. And what's interesting is it reduced the speeds for the same rev range by about 10%. So we went from what we just recorded there and what you see on the screen to, and this is first to 6, 33, 46, 59, 70, 80, and 90 in sixth gear. So it's gone from 100 kilometers an hour at 6,000 RPM in sixth, in stock configuration, down to 90 kilometers an hour, which is about a 10% drop. Now, what's interesting is the other thing I looked at is what rev does it take to do 100 kilometers an hour? 6,000 RPM in stock configuration with the 13:43 ratio that we set up here, it was 6,900 RPM. So it added 900 RPM to what we're required to do 100 kilometers an hour. So that basically was the effect on speed. Now, the ride itself on the local range is absolutely brilliant, right? It definitely causes the bike to rev quicker, to get you into that rev range, and because the gears are much closer, you're not dropping out of a good rev range or the high end of the rev range into a situation where the bike is bogging. You're actually keeping the bike in the rev range, and it was way easier to ride with the guys in their thousands. So I absolutely loved it. So for the local ranges, 13:43, absolutely sweet. And the longer swing arm, I absolutely love the feel of it. So big fan of that configuration. Now, you've got to recognize that we've got a couple of scenarios here, or bits of equipment here that gives you some options here. So you've got a 13 and a 14 option at the front, and we got a 41 and a 43 option at the rear. So we could actually play around a little bit with that. We could go from stock, which is 14:41, to just change the rear by 2 teeth. Go to 14 front, 42 rear, and that would move the ratio down just a little bit. Then you could go back to a 41 rear, make the 13 on the front, and that actually moves the gearing a little bit lower, because 1 tooth removed from the front is the equivalent of around about 3 teeth move on the rear. So that would move you in the direction, and then you could go to that extreme that we set up, which is a 13 front, 43 rear. If you whacked in there a 42 rear sprocket rear for the rear, that gives you more options again. So how would you use that? Well, on the local track that we've got here, I'm actually thinking that we would have a 14 front, 43 rear. That's probably going to be close to the optimum scenario. If you're down there at Phillip Island, you know, or some sort of track with a longer straight, then you would want to gear it up. You would want to go to the bigger front sprocket and the smaller rear sprocket, you know, or even smaller. You might go from a 14 front and 41 rear down to a 39 rear or something like that to get more top end. But the distance between the gears is going to be much greater. So it depends on the track that you're riding on and the type of, you know, circumstances you want to ride your particular bike in. For me, 13:43 is optimum for the ranges. Absolutely sweet. So listen, I hope you get something out of that. You know, don't be afraid to go and experiment on your bike, and I'm sure you're going to feel or find similar results to what I got.